The neuroscience behind the law of attraction. The law of attraction is the belief that positive or negative thoughts can attract corresponding experiences and events into a person's life. It is based on a very simple idea. Thoughts become things, and it is very easy to see that this is true. Look around you. Every human-made object was, without fail, once a thought in someone's head. Thought inspires action. Action is a making or a doing. Making or doing creates our worlds. Thus, positive thoughts inspire positive action. Positive action is positive or beneficial doing or making, and positive or beneficial doing or making creates a positive or beneficial world, even our personal, private, or subjective worlds. Unfortunately, habitual negative thinking will yield the opposite results. It can create an extremely unhappy, even hellish, subjective or inner world for us. There is no more effective way of radically changing our lives for the better than changing our thinking, our thoughts from negative thoughts to positive thoughts. But how? Recent scientific studies in neuroscience, particularly in neuroplasticity, or the brain's ability to reorganize itself and think differently by forming new connections between neurons, can be very helpful. Research in neuroplasticity has shown that by engaging in positive thinking and/or practicing gratitude, the very structure and function of our brains change. Activity in certain regions of the brain linked to positive thought is also greatly increased. The law of attraction is often associated with the practice of positive affirmations and visualization. In these practices, a person focuses their thoughts and energy on positive outcomes in order to attract them into their life. Neuroscience shows us why this works so well. By forming the habit of thinking positively, we create new neural pathways in the brain. The more we do this, the more these neuronal pathways are laid down in the brain, and the easier it becomes for us to think positively. So, what are the practices and habits which help to form these neuronal pathways in the brain? Gratitude, positive self-talk, good company, cultivating brain health, challenging negative thoughts. Gratitude is simply the practice of focusing on the things in your life that you are grateful for. You can focus on your relationships, health, experiences, almost anything that you feel happy or grateful about. And always remember, nothing is too small or insignificant to be grateful for. You could be grateful merely for the air that you breathe or the legs that you stand upon. Research has shown that practicing gratitude improves mood, reduces stress and anxiety, and increases our sense of overall well-being. Neuroscience tells us that expressing gratitude has profoundly positive effects on the brain. Recent studies have shown that by engaging in gratitude practices, there is an increased activity in the prefrontal cortex. This is the brain region involved in regulating emotions and controlling behavior. There is also increased activity in the hypothalamus, a brain region involved in stress regulation. You can easily practice gratitude by expressing gratitude to others, either through verbal appreciation, through acts of kindness, or just writing down each day what you are grateful for. Self-talk refers to the internal dialogue that we have with ourselves, the ever-present inner voice which can turn against us with negative talk. The popular spiritual teacher and author of The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, says that our inner voice, or self-talk, can have a devastating effect on our mental and emotional well-being. This voice, or self-talk, can keep us stuck in the past or worrying constantly about things that may never happen. Negative self-talk is the primary generator of our negative thinking, and therefore of negative outcomes in our lives. We can change this by first learning to quieten the mind through meditation or by mindfulness, that is, directing our focus and attention to the present moment. Once the mind is quiet, we become less caught up in the momentum of negative thoughts about ourselves. It is this slowing of the momentum of negative thinking by meditation or mindfulness that allows for the turning of our attention and focus away from the arising of negative self-talk. This creates the internal space necessary to be able to redirect our thoughts to more positive and beneficial thinking. Over time, we learn to cultivate a more and more compassionate inner voice. We learn to talk to ourselves as we would to a good friend that we love. We replace negative thoughts and self-criticism with positive self-talk. For example, instead of saying to yourself, "I'm so stupid, I can't do anything right," you might instead say, "I made a mistake, but that's okay. I'll learn from it and try again." What happens to our brains when we do this? Research in neuroscience has shown that practicing positive self-talk increases activity in the prefrontal cortex. This is the region of the brain that is involved in decision-making, problem-solving, and regulating emotions. By increasing activity in this brain region, we can improve our mood and greatly reduce stress. Awakening this region of the brain through positive self-talk engenders confidence and the feeling that we can cope and resolve almost any situation. Positive self-talk helps to form strong neural connections that lead to further positive thinking, leading to more and more positive action and more positive world building, whether the inner or outer world. Positive self-talk has also been shown to increase the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. This is a protein that supports the growth and maintenance of brain cells, which helps to improve brain function and support good mental health. In other words, positive self-talk makes our brain grow and keeps it healthy. The 4 primary strategies for cultivating positive self-talk are: 1. Identity negative self-talk. Pay attention to the thoughts you have about yourself and your abilities. When you notice negative thoughts, try to recognize them as just thoughts rather than facts. 2. Replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. When you catch yourself having negative thoughts, try to reframe them in a more positive light. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," try thinking, "I'm doing my best and that's all that matters." 3. Practice gratitude. Focusing on the things you are grateful for can help to shift your mindset from negative to positive. Take some time each day to reflect on the things that are going well in your life. 4. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would show to a friend. Avoid self-criticism and judgment, and try to be understanding and forgiving of yourself. Good company is important not only for our capacity to think positively, but also for brain health. Good company is to surround ourselves with positive and supportive people. This can very quickly improve our mood and our outlook on life. Being around others who are positive and encouraging is one of the fastest ways of reinforcing our own positive thinking. Research has shown that contact with positive and optimistic people is very important to mental well-being. When we are in good company, our brain releases the chemicals oxytocin and dopamine. These greatly reduce stress and improve mood, which are both prerequisites to positive thinking. Interacting with others who are good company can help to stimulate the brain and improve our brain function. A study published in the journal Psychology and Aging showed that older adults who surrounded themselves with positive and optimistic friends considerably slowed their rate of cognitive decline. This also substantially lowered any risk of them developing dementia. It is also true that good company, or being around positive, supportive and optimistic people, significantly shape our thoughts and behaviors. In other words, being around positive people means we are more likely to adopt a positive outlook on life, and therefore grow our capacity for positive thinking. One of the major factors in the capacity for positive thinking, the kind of positive thinking that leads to positive action and therefore creates positive outcomes for us, is a healthy brain. In fact, a healthy brain is perhaps the greatest of all aids to positive thinking. Neuroscience has shown that there is a strong link between our brain health and our mental health. When our brain is functioning at its best, we are more likely to feel positive and motivated, and we are better able to cope with stress and challenges. Neuroscience has revealed the 5 main reasons why a healthy brain supports positive thinking. 1. A healthy brain is better able to regulate emotions and manage stress, which makes it easier to stay positive and optimistic. 2. A healthy brain is more resilient and better able to bounce back from setbacks, which can help maintain a positive outlook even in the face of challenges. 3. A healthy brain is better able to process and interpret information accurately, which can help us see the world more objectively and avoid negative thinking patterns such as negative bias or distorted thinking. 4. A healthy brain is better able to engage in problem-solving and creative thinking, which can help us find solutions to problems and see opportunities for growth and improvement. 5. A healthy brain is more responsive to positive experiences and stimuli, which can help us feel good and maintain a positive outlook. So, how do we create and maintain a healthy brain? Interestingly, most of the practices that support positive thinking also support brain health. Therefore, gratitude, positive self-talk, good company or social connection, challenging negative thinking, and substituting positive thinking. All of these, as we have mentioned, have been shown by neuroscience to be profoundly helpful in supporting our brain's health. However, there is one practice that we have not mentioned that has the most incredible benefit for brain health, and that is exercise. Almost all types of exercise have a strong beneficial effect on the brain and therefore on our capacity for positive thought. Regular physical activity has been shown to have numerous benefits for brain health, including improving cognition, increasing neuroplasticity, and reducing the risk of age-related cognitive decline. Exercise has been found to increase the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein that supports the growth and maintenance of brain cells. Exercise has also been found to improve blood flow to the brain, which can help to support brain function. All of this means that exercise has a positive effect on mood and emotional well-being, both of which help support positive thinking. And remember, as the law of attraction states, positive thought attracts positive outcomes. Quite simply because positive thought inspires or attracts positive action, and positive action creates positive emotions, events, situations, and ultimately creates or attracts positive worlds. And those worlds can either be objective worlds or our subjective worlds of emotion, feeling, and our sense of well-being and happiness. There is one other practice that is almost equal to exercise when it comes to optimum brain health, and that is sleep. Adequate sleep is essential for brain health and cognitive function. Lack of sleep can negatively impact mood, memory, and problem-solving skills, making it more difficult to think positively. Neuroscientific research over the last 20 years has revealed the vital importance of quality sleep in maintaining brain health and therefore supporting our capacity for positive thinking. There are 4 main areas in which quality sleep achieves this. 1. Memory consolidation. Sleep plays a crucial role in consolidating memories and strengthening the connections between neurons in the brain. This helps improve learning and memory and can support positive thinking by enabling us to access and use our past experiences and knowledge in a more effective way. 2. Emotional regulation. Sleep has been shown to regulate emotions and improve mood, which can support positive thinking. Lack of sleep can lead to irritability, negative mood, and difficulty managing emotions, which can make it more difficult to think positively. 3. Cognition. Adequate sleep is essential for maintaining cognitive function, including problem-solving, decision-making, and attention. Lack of sleep can impair these functions, making it more difficult to think positively and make good decisions. 4. Stress management. Sleep helps regulate the body's stress response and can help reduce the negative effects of stress on the brain. This can support positive thinking by reducing the impact of stress on mood and cognitive function. The effort to think positively is certainly very important to living a successful, happy, and satisfying life. In fact, our first goal, prior to all goals, should be an emotional goal. We should seek to first achieve the goal of well-being and positive thought as the ground or launching place for all of our other life goals. We do well to take the advice of the law of attraction that before taking any action, we should reach for and achieve an emotion of positivity, well-being, good feeling, and/or happiness. Paradoxically, to achieve the goals that we hope will make us happy, we should already be happy. We should not take any action if we are in a negative frame of mind. In that case, it is much better to take a time out in the form of meditation or even a nap. When we are in a negative or irritated mindset, it is best for us to interrupt that negative flow of thought and start again, freshly after meditation, a nap, or a deep dreamless sleep. There are 3 types of action. Inspired action. This flows from positive states of mind, as has been mentioned. Effortful action. This is the type of action we take even if we do not feel like it. Action we force ourselves to do. Both forms of action will produce results, and sometimes effortful action is absolutely required or necessary. But the difference in the effectiveness between inspired action and effortful action is profound. This example illustrates the difference. You could vacuum your entire house, doing the best possible job that you could do, not missing a square inch, moving the couch, vacuuming underneath it, making sure you vacuumed every inch of the rug, etc. However, if the vacuum had not been plugged in the entire time you vacuumed, the effectiveness of the action would be greatly reduced, no matter how hard you worked or how thoroughly you worked. The difference between inspired action, action flowing from positive emotions and states of mind, and effortful action, action forced regardless of your emotional state or state of mind, is the difference between plugged-in action and unplugged action. There is a 3rd type of action, which has been communicated over thousands of years by ancient religious traditions and by indigenous ways of knowing as being more effective than either inspired action or effortful action. Neuroscience of the last 30 years has also begun to reveal this 3rd type of action in the workings of the human brain. This 3rd type of action is effortless effort, known in Chinese Taoism as Wu-Wei. The concept of Wu-Wei, which is often translated as non-action or effortless action, has its roots in the Chinese philosophy of Taoism. Wu-Wei refers to the idea that true success and fulfillment come not from trying too hard or exerting too much control, but from allowing things to unfold naturally and in alignment with the natural flow of the universe. This concept may seem counterintuitive to many in the modern world, where effort and control are often seen as key ingredients for success. Recent research in neuroscience is beginning to shed light on the relationship between Wu-Wei, the law of attraction, and how our brains function in a state of Wu-Wei. But first, let's look at another important concept in Taoism, and that is the accomplishing power of the deep mind. Taoism believes by letting go of our quieting, our discursive or thinking mind, we allow a much more effective and powerful deeper mind. And even though this deeper mind is outside our conscious awareness, it can be a powerful source of inspiration for action that benefits not only us, but those around us. This understanding of a deep and beneficial mind outside our conscious awareness is also found in the ancient Tibetan religion of Bon. Bon was the religion that existed in Tibet before Buddhism arrived there in the 7th century and had a profound effect on the development of Tibetan Buddhism. Tibetan Bon shares many of the same concepts and understandings as those of the law of attraction. Tibetan Bon placed a strong emphasis on the power of thoughts and emotions to shape our experiences and reality. Tibetan Bon emphasized the importance of cultivating positive thoughts and emotions as a means of contacting that deeper or ultimate intelligence which they called Shen. In Tibetan Bon, Shen is our deeper mind and is the source of all wisdom, intelligence, and beneficial guidance. According to Tibetan Bon, the way to contact Shen is by first cultivating positive thoughts and emotions, and then secondly, by letting go and allowing Shen mind to guide us. The similarities to the law of attraction are obvious. The law of attraction's two main steps are: 1. Raise your vibration. Raise your vibration by focusing on positive thoughts and feelings. This involves cultivating positive emotions and shifting your focus away from negative thoughts and feelings. 2. Allow your desires to manifest. The second step in the law of attraction process is to allow your desires to manifest by letting go of the need to control the outcome and trusting in the universe to bring your desires to you. This involves releasing resistance and allowing the universe to work in your favor. These two steps, or two phases of the law of attraction, point to an important distinction: the distinction between thoughts you think and thoughts you receive. Step 1 is the active or effort of you thinking less resistant thoughts, positive thinking. Step 2, you have now prepared yourself through positive, non-resistant thought to receive thought from what some call deep mind and others call higher power, source, or God. This distinction between thinking thought and receiving thought is key to understanding how the law of attraction works. Incredibly, recent neuroscience has come to many of the same conclusions. It points to the two operating networks in the brain: the default mode network, previously known as the task negative network, the task positive network. The default mode network, DMN, and the task positive network are two distinct networks of the brain that are active at different times and play different roles in cognitive function. The default mode network is active when we are thinking about ourselves, often in negative or problematic ways, e.g., negative self-talk or worrying about the future. The default mode network stops being active when we are engaged in tasks or the outside world. Instead, the task positive network becomes active when we are engaged in tasks or the outside world. For example, while playing a sport or involved in drawing, we may forget ourselves and/or lose all sense of time as the default mode network quietens. We can also effectively quieten the default mode network through meditation, mindfulness, or through the practices of positive thinking previously mentioned. In the study of long-term meditators, neuroscientists have observed that some meditators can completely shut down their default mode network. On the other hand, neuroscientists have observed in those suffering from attention deficit disorder, ADD, that their default mode network is overactive and rarely, if ever, shuts down during their waking hours. Interestingly, those practices that increase our capacity to think positive thoughts include those of meditation, exercise, and sleep also tend to quieten the default mode network of the brain. These practices quieten that part of the brain that produces worry and fear. Another thing that happens when the default mode network quietens is that the task positive network awakens and becomes very active. The task positive network is that part of the brain that solves problems and presents solutions. The task positive network is far more powerful than the default mode network. The task positive network, however, regardless of its superior power, will shut down as soon as the default mode network becomes active. As an example of this, you are trying to read or complete a task and your mind keeps interrupting and you wander off into daydreams. But most importantly, the task positive network is at its most effective problem-solving and solution-providing function outside of your conscious awareness. Examples of this are the scientist or mathematician who goes and has a shower, not thinking of his problem, and suddenly the long-sought-for answer miraculously just pops into their head. Or the novelist who goes to sleep trying to solve a plot point, and the answer is suddenly there in full when they wake in the morning. The parallels between Taoist Wu-Wei and deep mind, Tibetan Bon's Shen mind, and the law of attraction's art of allowing are very clear. Neuroscience makes it clear that by following one or all of these paths, by quieting the discursive thinking mind or default mode network through meditation, sleep, or the practices such as compassion, gratitude, positive self-talk or self-love, good company, etc., that cultivate positive thinking, we develop the capacity for the next step, which is to let go and let God, or to surrender to deeper intelligence, a higher power, a beneficial intelligence that will provide us all of the necessary and harmonious solutions of well-being that are necessary to lead a happy and fulfilling life. Rama